now. 40 years of experience. We've worked with over 94 clients, and between the three of us, we have also planned over 100 events. So we figured the best way to do this was to join forces and do a little something different. And everything has culminated to tonight. So everybody has seen maybe our logo. There's a lot of talk about how you say this word. Any guesses in there? Yes, please. All right, so we need a little bit of intro here. So some people pronounce it Caerus, we go with the Caerus Project. What's great about this is Caerus is actually the son of Zeus. This was strategic in how we pulled this together. He's the son of Zeus, and he is the god of opportunity. What better way to use some mythology to kind of reignite and restart what this local area needs and how we can get back into the swing of things. So he's usually pictured, and if you've seen some of the flyers or if you've been to our website, he's usually pictured with three things: wings, a razor, and a scale. The wings represent speed, the razor represents accuracy, and the scale represents balance. And these are all the three things that Nick, myself, and Alexis want to bring to the Caerus Project moving forward. So that's what we believe is important for success. That's why we chose that, and now you know it's the Caerus Project. So we had a task. We wanted to try something new. We saw an opportunity to piece together a lot of our experience over the years. And after about 100 Zoom calls, how many people love those Zoom calls over the last year? So after about 100 Zoom calls, lots of coffee, a lot of spreadsheets, we've come to today. So here we are, this is where we are. This is a whole new initiative that's going to be bridging into 2022, and we thank everybody for being here. So, Nick, I'm going to pass it off to you.
Thanks, Chris. And round of applause. The writing and everything, that's just very much, Chris. I think we all compliment each other, pretty well. So, one of the frequently asked questions in the other room was like, I know you guys, I was happy to be here, happy to get out of sweatpants. What exactly is this? I saw some ideas around the room. So it's two things. Chris and I have a lot of experience doing like consulting and work for other businesses and nonprofits. So that's the side you probably won't see. So that's the professional services side. The other side of it is events driven, internal events, retreats, strategic planning, and public events like we're here tonight. So maybe question number 2 tonight was, this is great, but what's next? What are you up to? What's this thing on the phone board? So a couple quick things we want you to keep in the back of your mind, keep an eye out on social media, look for those emails that land in your promotions folder, and we hope to see you at some stuff in the future. One being HB Real, which is a regional women's group, professional women's group, that's already kind of rolling and moving and planning their first event soon, and they're here. There's a number of the committee members are here tonight. Wouldn't mind just standing up, like thank you for raising your hand, thank you for your work.
You guys have been working hard behind the scenes.
A foundation of the region and how so many of us know each other in the room is the unbelievable and incredible nonprofit community in the Hudson Valley. So many of us know each other from volunteer opportunities, the Dutchess Chamber of Commerce, who's here tonight. So we thought there was an opportunity coming out of COVID to put together and coordinate a nonprofit leadership institute, which is some of the boards you saw in the other room. So that's already rolling. There's 3 or 4 days booked actually here next year for leaders and board members and other folks who engage with and volunteer with nonprofits. So we're excited to keep moving forward on that. In January, we're convening a committee for an arts and film and kind of culture festival in the fall of 2022. Something that's never really maybe done on that kind of scale. So if that's something that kind of resonates with you, grab Alexis, grab Chris, grab myself. I think a lot of what we're hoping to do is very much collaborative. Maybe the idea comes from one of us, but if you know us, and we hope we get to know a lot of you much better in the new year, that's our approach, is working and partnering with others. We'd love to have you, be a part of it. And we also have another side of this, which isn't necessarily up on any phone boards tonight, which is called the Caerus Impact, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, which will do some foundation work in the region as well. So that will include some board opportunities if some folks in the room are interested. But we are here tonight not just because some of you thought that we had some great ideas or you had nothing else to do maybe on a Wednesday evening, but we're here in large part because of the generosity and the support of a lot of really important and special sponsors in the region. So we just wanted to mention a couple of them briefly. Please hold your applause. We'll give everybody a round at the end, and then we'll get right into the panel. So up first is, and where are they in the room? Tompkins and folks from Tompkins. Thank you for continuing to support not just this new initiative, but some of the things that Chris and Alexis and I have worked on over the last couple of years. Your support for a number of community organizations is always really greatly appreciated. So we're really glad that you're here tonight. And it's been great to have some conversations about this institute already next year. So it seems like you guys want to be involved there. So thank you again for being here.
I'd like to give a shout out to Lace Photo Media. Where are you guys? There we go. Everybody knows Lucia and Alicia. They helped us take the concept from a napkin at a diner to what you see today, the website, the feel, the look, and everything like that. Great branding partners. They helped us get this off the ground. So we want to tip our hat to them as being one of our strategic partners to really kind of let us turn this into reality. So thank you for that as well.
Thank Duchess. I've seen you guys like twice or 3 times today. I was in your offices earlier. You're here tonight. I don't know when any of you sleep. But if you're not familiar with Think Duchess, they're a nationally recognized economic development organization. They actually bring together 12 different agencies. So if you aspire to be an entrepreneur or you want to bring a business to the region, they're like the go-to in Dutchess County. And they've continued to support a lot of what we've done to date. So we're glad you're here, and thank you for your support. And we're looking forward to working with you next year.
We can't go tonight without thanking Rebel 32. This place is amazing. How many people, this is your first time here? Show of hands. What do you guys think? Pretty amazing, right? We fell in love with this place. We're going to be doing a lot of our workshops and the nonprofit work here, so we'd love to see you back. Big shout out to them. They've been a great partner with us. We came to them with the idea tonight and all of next year, and Bianca's been amazing. Is Bianca in the room, or she may not be in the room? Give her a shout out back there for me. Appreciate it. Twisted Soul for the food. Twisted Soul brought in all that amazing hors d'oeuvres. That was fantastic, as well as Ace. We've got some great stuff here. Ace and Dico actually supplied a lot of the desserts on the table. Please dive into those so that way I don't feel like I'm the only one raising my blood sugar after you all leave. Incidental Harmonies, round of applause for the band during cocktail hour. They were amazing. Fun fact. Jenny Perks delivered my daughter. She is now a senior going to college in the fall. So it's kind of a long relationship with him. Does some great work, so a round of applause to them as well. 2 more final sponsors and then we'll get started. So one is a relatively new business in the region, but we're glad to have them as a sponsor. Tonight, Renew MediSpa started out of Pulse MD. They're like a full-service medical aesthetics practice. There's 2 locations. One is a ribbon cutting, right, on December 8th in Wappingers, right, in Wappingers with the Duchess Chamber. Hope to see some of you there. I think we will be there. And another location in Poughkeepsie. And in March of 22, they're opening another location in Briarcliff. We're happy to have them on board as a sponsor, and it's really great to see a business kind of growing and thriving over the last 2 years. So thank you for being a sponsor tonight. And then one final sponsor who we were really thrilled to have support for, part of the same kind of ownership. Pulse MD with owner Faisal Ashraf, who's here tonight. We're glad to have you here. They employ 120 people in 5 locations in 3 counties in Dutchess, Putnam, and Westchester. And since the start of the COVID pandemic, they've administered like more than 100,000 COVID tests
across the region. They were one of the first urgent cares or healthcare facilities of like any type to offer accessible testing, telemedicine. So I think on behalf of like everybody here, not just a thank you for your sponsorship and your support tonight, but thank you so much for supporting the well-being of the Hudson Valley and all of our health and livelihood. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. All right, are we ready for the main event? Are we ready to rumble? Here we go. We got some amazing speakers for you tonight. We have two amazing entrepreneurs in the local area. They're definitely standouts, innovators, risk takers, as we've been promoting over the last few weeks. We invited them here tonight to share their insights. Both of them doubled down during one of the toughest economies in the last 10 to 15 years, and they came out with flying colors. They've done some amazing stuff. So we asked them to come here tonight. We're going to kind of hear the behind-the-scenes trials and tribulations of how they succeeded, you know, and all the bad stuff too. And that's, I think, what we want to highlight. You know, where were the tough parts? To note that everybody is out there struggling, but there's some key elements that we wanted to share with you tonight, and that is our main event. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce this next, a good friend of mine. She's here with her husband, Bruce, rock star over here. They built $1 million real estate company in New Paltz. She's an athlete. She just ran the New York City Marathon. She also ran the SOS in New Paltz. She started selling sparklers 10 years ago, and now she's here. A round of applause for Lindsay Stevens. Next on the panel, I've been working with this individual for the past year, learned so much about him, how he runs his business, the way he thinks. Definitely a rock star. He's becoming a concierge icon in the Hudson Valley. If you don't know him, you need to know him. He also sits on the board of Community Matters 2. He just won 40 under 40 through the Poughkeepsie Chamber of Commerce. And a fun stat, I heard that he can actually cook minute rice in 45 seconds. A round of applause for Micah Bennett. And if you don't know already, my third panelist to my right, partner in crime, Nick brings 15 years of people and operations, of management, and HR. Later this month, he's actually going to be interviewed by LinkedIn, our friendly friends over there, about the future of work and what it means for professionals like himself and trends that he's seeing in the industry. Fun fact about Nick, he still celebrates winning the 6th grade science fair every other day. A round of applause for Nick Morrow.
That is true. I did my sixth grade. My mother's here, so it's true. It was about like Gatorade.
There's something about Gatorade, I think.
It was really like ahead of its time.
It's a beautiful thing. So what we wanted to do is have a casual conversation here, a little inside the actor's studio, put you guys in the spotlight. Hopefully the lights are nice and bright. You can see all your adoring fans out there. Where's Micah's mother? She's right over there. Look at her. There we go. Love it. So what we want to do is kind of walk through the big picture of what has happened in the last year and how both, all three of these, Nick has seen some trends as well. What's really happened that got us to this point over the last 18 months? So, Lindsay, question number 1. Gotta turn it on.
Okay.
All right, so let's go back to March 2020. You've been in business with your husband, Bruce. COVID arrives, the world turns upside down. Reflecting back on that journey over the last 18 months, what was your mindset during this time? What did you do, and how did you do it?
So,
Good question.
yeah. So, I know a lot of people in the audience, and I go hard. So I feel like when difficult times show up, I show up, and the challenges present themselves to me in a way where it gives me an opportunity to find a solution. So when our business was shut down, I was scared. right? So it was scary. We had employees, we had a team, and we couldn't operate. Like, we couldn't operate in any capacity. We couldn't show real estate. We couldn't be on site. We couldn't be on the road. We couldn't be in the house. We couldn't do our job at all. There was very little wiggle room in making that happen other than innovating. And we leaned heavily on technology, and how we've grown our business is through being different. And we basically started thinking about how can we show up virtually? How can we show up to the consumer without actually being there? And we did it through Matterport, 3D video tour walkthroughs. We walked through video houses with people on Zoom. We sat at our dining room table for 19 hours a day, working. Because now, like, we didn't have to leave the office and drive home, or wake up and go to the office. We could just work 24 hours a day. And that's what we did. And we'd set up our dining room table as like the war zone, and our kids were sort of homeschooling there, not really. We pretended they were, like.
I think a lot of people's kids were pretending this last year, right? Yeah.
We like proudly set up like their classroom. They'll after like 72 hours, and we're like, screw the classroom. But we knew we had to change. So we used it as an opportunity to pivot our business. And we were an independent brokerage for, since '09 when we started our office. And we started investigating avenues where we could grow. And I felt like at that time I needed to put myself around people that would make me feel small. And so I did that. I went on a journey to find people that could maybe teach me something. And I'm a lifelong learner. Like, I'm always trying to learn. I have a notebook here with a pen. And I just feel like everybody can always teach us something that we don't know. And I started reaching out to agents, big agents all over the country, and asking them what they do, how do they do it, where do I need to go, what room do I need to be in. And they probably watched me over the last 18 months change, like, pretty drastically.
How many people follow Lindsay and her team on social media? Oh, if you don't, you need to. This woman runs and talks to the camera at the same time. I don't know how she does it. You can see her on every trail in New Paltz. She's running. She's like, I just thought of something. I just finished a 25-mile run, and I'm going to change the world, and I want to let you in on it. So.
When I can get Bruce to run with me, I'm like, why aren't you talking? Why aren't you talking? He's like, stop talking.
I think that's every husband, right?
But it was an opportunity for change, right? And I think a lot of people furloughed themselves, and they used COVID as a time to just be home. And I feel like I put my foot on the gas and never took it off because everybody else was just coasting. And it was a time where if you really put your heart into what you were doing, you would come out ahead. There was no doubt. And that's what we did. And we, our team, when we went into COVID, was 12. We're 30 agents now. We're expanding really rapidly. We've taken on, full-time multimedia manager up there, and admin staff, and we continue to evolve and grow and change. And that's sort of my
So what you mentioned, a lot of people, they say it takes about 3 months to put together a habit. And over the last 3 months, right after March happened, everybody kind of got into the comfort zone of, hey, this is great, snow day for a long time. What made you hit the gas? Like, was there a turning point? Was it just the opportunity, or did something actually trigger that with you and your team to say, let's go for it now, now's the time?
Well, I love my people, right? And I was scared because when there's no money coming in, you worry about the longevity of your people. So I knew that if we were going to survive it, and we didn't know, like, real estate in Hudson Valley was either going to crash and burn or it was going to explode. And thankfully, it exploded. But I know that in difficult times, you just have to give it everything you got. And that's your only chance at making it happen. It's either going to go one way or the other. And for me, that's all I need, is I need a little bit of some uncertainty to really show it.
Gotta go through that. Micah, I hear you over here. Yep. I see you nodding left and right. How did you adapt? Now, what was the turning point for you and your staff? Because I know you've made some big investments in your team, and a lot of it involves outreach and talking to people and really making connections. What was the turning point for you?
Like that? Well, I have to applaud Lindsay. She's amazing. And I mean, hearing all this, I'm like, wow, as a real estate agent and a real estate owner, you know what I mean? That's a lot of effort. But before I say anything, please give you guys yourselves a round of applause for being here this evening, please.
So, listening to what Lindsay said about doubling down on your staff, I know that you've done the same thing, investing a lot of time in your business during the last 18 months. What was the tipping point for you to hit the gas and really go for it? Because I know you've been doing a lot of outreach, talking to a lot of people, really making connections in a time when people are shunning connections, but you really seem to step out ahead of the crowd.
Well, I really couldn't say it was really a full tipping point because, again, when COVID hit, I wasn't sure what we were going to do, right? So the first thing I did was I got on my knees and I prayed, right? And then I went upstairs, talked to my mom, my dad, and said, listen, Mom, Dad, what are we going to do? Because they're my support system. And I wasn't really even sure how to even weather the storm because, mind you, transportation had dropped out almost to 80%, right? So now I'm trying to figure out how am I going to go to the airports now when no one's traveling, right? And then again, we still have people going to the doctor's appointment, but people are scared to go outside, right? So I'm like, Jesus, what am I going to do? So delivery started to pick up for me. And it was just funny because if we just, rewind a little back to 2011, 2012, when I saw convenience services on a rise. And I said, if people are going to get, pizza delivered, why wouldn't they want McDonald's, the Burger King delivered and stuff like that? But it was crazy how it took COVID to have people to realize that there's a concierge service here in the backyard that can provide these services besides Grubhub, Uber Eats and stuff like that, right? And now that we have that here, what was great was that I was able to partner with organizations like CM2 that helped me pivot my business, right? Because, for example, my brother over here, Lakete Taylor, please stand up for a second. Brother over there, please. I just can't say it was one thing, right? There was shootings, there was COVID, there was a lot of things happening. There was a transformation of what am I going to do for my business? But then again, I had a support system, like my brother right here, Lakete. We would talk and we'd say, what are we going to do? How could we re-engineer our businesses? And I said, you know what? I'm not just going to think on just concierge service and do delivery and transportation. How could we blend our businesses together? Think outside the box, right? So I said, all right, we're going to lead with humility and love. And I felt that because I started leading with that, that changed people and their mindsets about how they looked at HBCS. Because not only did we just deliver your grocery shopping, your dry clean, your prescription, but we came up there in a suit. And you guys would question us and say, Jesus, why are you coming in a suit to deliver my groceries? And I said, that's the reason why we want to show up, because we want to look good and also change your perception that we don't have to show up in a brown suit, deliver a box, right? So we can deliver your groceries and be personal and be professional at the same time. And knowing that, that was one of the, I would say, the biggest turning points for people seeing the value of HBCS here at HBCS.
It sounds like the people factor for both of you has really been the investment, right? Investing in a support network, if it's your team or outside influences, that's been a big piece. Nick, I'm going to throw this one to you. All the obstacles we've experienced, right? We've gone through a lot of this together, putting things together. We talked about how they either break us or improve us. That's something that we've had a lot of conversations about. So before COVID, this did not exist. The Caerus Project did not exist. And it started with a phone call between the two of us, three of us with Alexis, saying, how do we to make things better? So tonight we're here at Revel. It's actually a reality. So what inspired you to come give me that phone call and turn this into reality?
I think that other than, a global health crisis, which we can't control, we can't impact, and it's going to do what it's going to do, There's a lot of other things I think that went wrong, and that was what our conversations focused on. Leadership, like, just fell off the face of the earth. How do you lead people over a Zoom call? I can't stick my head in your office. What does it mean to work anymore? Do I need to leave my house to have a career? What am I doing with myself? We were all in our thoughts for 18 months. And we saw so many things get turned upside down that I think I wanted to come to the table for this to help, this is really cheesy, but help make work better, help leadership evolve, and lend our expertise and create experiences that allow for businesses and nonprofits to achieve their mission. And that sounds really, really ambitious, but that starts somewhere, right? I think, to Lindsay's point and Micah's point, and a little bit of the theme tonight, it's there. The world's been turned upside down. What are we going to do about it? And I think what's come out of this stretch of time is a lot of questions, and we want to be in the middle of asking those questions, putting smart people and innovators together to answer the questions and create more inspirational, I think, experiences. Because we look at that as all kind of going very much, together. What's better than an inspirational experience where you learn something, right? You or I can go to Micah's office and talk about managing people. That's neat, but this is a little bit more compelling, right? To get together with people and learn together and make something better. I think it elevates the region, it elevates all of our lives, and there's some 2,000 nonprofits across several of the counties here. There's a real need. So we saw, I think we felt like a duty to do something. That we had done things for other organizations, we had done things together. So all those early conversations were, what about this one? What about Tom? What about Evan? What about my team at Marist who's here tonight? What are we gonna do to help each other and work together and collaborate in new ways? So that's 100 Zooms, a lot of sweatpants, a lot of spreadsheets.
Nick, if you need a spreadsheet, just call Nick. We've got this whole thing on spreadsheet. It's crazy. I think you're right. The big picture here is, I know there was a turning point in my career where it was, anybody else have this feeling where you're wondering, be like, you're just sitting back waiting for somebody else to do something? Anybody have that feeling somewhere, or is it just me? Am I crazy? Okay, there's a few of us out there. Where you're like, is anybody gonna do anything? Kind of step up and do that. And I got to a point in my career where I was like, all right, let's go, right? Let's step front. Just looking around, waiting for that moment, and the moment didn't come, so I'm gonna create it. My father said, if you walk into the room, if you're the first one to say something, you own the room. And I didn't understand what that meant in the past, but in retrospect, you look at it and say, all right, if somebody has an idea and kind of moves forward, those people will gravitate. And these are all the people sitting here in front of us today, the ones that kind of agreed to, yeah, you got this crazy idea, let's go for it. So Lindsay, let me throw this back to you. Everybody talks about, yeah, we did some cool stuff and we came out on the back end. So what was the biggest struggle for you? What do you struggle with? What's the dirty secret behind the curtain when it comes to running a business that you're willing to share with the masses? So everybody knows that it's not just fancy, fancy graphics and, killer Instagram posts.
Where's the tequila? So I'm pretty real and raw, and I think the people that follow me or know me, there's no shame in my game. And I think that a lot of what it gets clouded is that it's all supposed to be perfect, right? And we sit at these conferences, myself included, and I listen to these people and I'm like, what the hell? They got it all figured out. And it's dialed in, and the systems are perfect, and the structures are perfect, and the staff is perfect, and it's bullshit, right? It really is, it's chaotic behind the scenes. And I think it's just weaving through those moments and owning it. My team knows, they just got in my car and my car's a mess. So who I am to my team and my family and the people in this audience, I'm the same through and through and through. And I own it, and I understand that it's messy, and trying to grow is messy. I call it the messy middle. And a lot of times we change things really quickly. I'm like, just stick with me on this. We're doing this for a reason.
The messy middle, expand on that. What do you mean by the messy middle?
Growth is messy. You know, I think that you can't grow unless you're uncomfortable and things are scary and you're changing, evolving. There's no growth. So like we couldn't get from 12 people to 36 people without it being a little bit messy and changing systems and making things different for them where they're like, why are you doing this? Why are you changing this again? Because we have to. And just, let's go, you know? But I think that, yeah, I think you just need to know that if you have a dream and you want to do something and you have a goal, that the path to getting there is peaks and valleys. It's up and down, it's not perfect, it's hard. It's hard work. Like if I didn't sit here and say that I didn't work every day for 12 years, if my eyes were open, I was working. Like that's the truth. And I try and get my team to remember that. Like, it's hard, you know?
It's not an overnight thing by any chance.
Yeah.
So Michael, let me bounce this to you, but just starting off of that. If somebody in here today, there's a few people here, is inspired to be an entrepreneur, but in the last year and a half, they've kind of pulled back the reins a little bit, like with the unknown, on following that idea of, well, you know, I have this idea, and it's like, I don't know what to do. What advice would you have for them in a situation where they kind of are that apprehensive about, is it the right time? Should I jump in the water now? Should I not? What would you say to that person?
What you gotta lose? That's my first question.
Nothing.
So my point is this, and I'm not, can you hear me?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna speak up a little louder. So, my point is this. I'm not gonna downplay a job. Let's say this. You wanna work at a job at McDonald's? No problem. You're gonna apply for it, right? You're gonna do the best that you wanna do. But if you're gonna be committed to something that you want, or you wanna step up, why not take the chance? You only live once. How they say, YOLO? So, you know, you only live once. So I'm like, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring, you know? And I don't know if you know what tomorrow's gonna bring. So what are you going to lose if you try? And I'm saying this, and one of the guys that I follow is Gary Vee. I don't know if you guys know who this guy is, Gary Vaynerchuk. So he's basically a motivational speaker, but also he had VaynerMedia, and he has like his own marketing company, but he talks about passion leading with humility. But the reason why I bring this up is that, or bring him up is that, it's this. If you don't try, what do you know? And what's wrong with failing? Failing gives you the experience. Failing lets you know that that test or that example that you tried out didn't work. And guess what? You're not dead, right? After you tried it, right? So guess what? You can try stuff again, right? Yep. Now look, if I had said to myself in 2011, when I went into Hannaford's and I'm dressed like this in a suit, and I went to two white ladies, okay, next to the vending machine. And I said, wow, this is gonna be my first client that I'm gonna, offer my service to. And one of the ladies nudged each other and said, hey, sorry, I didn't want to break your shoulder. I don't trust your kind. Now, I could have said, listen, I'm done. But when I went home, I cried. I said to my mom, what am I gonna do? She said, oh, Papa, it's all right. No problem. Things will happen. You just got to get up and trust God. Sorry, Mom. So, I prayed. Now what? We're in 2021, right? I'm here. I'm on this stage. I'm world's best, I think. And I'm in the room with beautiful people. And you guys are here listening. Now that tells me, God had a plan for me. So if he has a plan for me, he has a plan for you. And this is a phrase that I always live by. Ear has not heard, eye has not seen, and brain has not thought what's in store for you. And I'm telling you, just try. Because when you try, you're going to see there's going to be a difference.
I think that's a lot of people. Tell me what I'm doing. I hear a lot about trusting your gut and moving forward and having that support system. So I'm going to volley this over to Nick about the idea of mentorship comes up a lot in a lot of conversations, not only here tonight, but getting us here. There's definitely a handful of mentors out there that I've kind of tipped my hat to in the past, and they've really inspired me. So, has any leader inspired you, right? So when someone, who's become that mentor for you in the past to get you to where you are?
I don't know if there's any one particular individual. I've had different people at different times show up for the right reasons and steer me in whatever that particular direction is that I needed to go in. Listening to Lindsay, listening to Micah's answer about just going for it and taking a chance. That resonated, and I think it resonated with a lot of you who shared some applause. Just getting ready for this tonight, this afternoon, I talked to someone who's like a family friend who just lost his job, who was a retail manager for 15 years. Doesn't know what he's going to do. It's the only job he's ever had. And I said, well, I said the same thing then. Who inspires you? Who do you want to be like? Who do you follow? What would you like to do if you had a magic wand? And he's like, I just, wish that, every day I had, like someone like Elon Musk, he said, which is like, one of the richest human beings ever to walk the face of the earth. And I said, I don't know if you know anything about him. I said, but you actually have a lot in common with him. And he was, what? What do you mean? I said, you have time and you have choices. And I've been helping people with job searches and resumes and such for a very long time. And it always amazes me how many people believe that they missed out on the bolt of lightning or the light that was supposed to shine down and was supposed to guide them. And I just don't think it works that way. So I pick up things along the way and try to learn something from folks. But what I even tell some members of my team at Marist, and they can call me out if I'm making this up, the best mentorship that I have had is the behavior and the leadership I do not want to follow. That there are learning examples, lessons every day at every corner. And I ended up in this field working with people, HR, people operations, whatever you'd like to call it, because I worked for some terrible people. Not because I wanted to be an astronaut or be a chef. I never really knew what I wanted to do. And I had some awful experiences, and I was like, wow, work shouldn't be this bad. How do I get on the other side of this and help, and help make it better? So I think the mentor that has followed me around is like bad experiences. That's the best opportunity. It's the 19 hours at a table. It's losing your job. It's making better use of your time. It's getting fired when you least expect it. It's getting up every day. And what do you have to lose?
That's a great, you guys are both definitely said, yeah, that's it. What about Lindsay? I'll close to you. You want to follow up on that?
Yeah, we call it failing forward. So you're moving forward, you're failing, but you're growing at the same time. And I think it's the only way to achieve any level of success is to continuously fail and fail and fail and fail and keep failing. But at the same time, you're growing, you're learning, which is the most invaluable thing you could ever ask for. So I agree. And we have something in our office called 100-0. 100% accountability, no excuses. And a lot of times the things you don't want to hear are the things you need to hear. People that will love you, right? Accountability is the highest form of love. It's not always what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. And that's kind of what we live and breathe by that.
You're ripping the Band-Aid off when you have to,
Yeah.
knowing it's there. What's your take on that as well?
Man, listen. You guys remember that time when you guys were young, when you did something wrong, and your mom was gonna get on you, and your tail was gonna feel hot, that's me right now. That's me. That's my motivator, right? Or that's my mentor, right? I have no one else to really tell me to get up. I mean, I have my team, I got to support, right? And I have my team of influencers that keep me going, right? At the same time, it's my team. At the end of the day, just blessed. Let's say that.
So let me go this way. We're talking about failure and all the negatives. Where do you see what kind of traits or what kind of examples, behaviors have you seen derail somebody's career or kind of shut down that progress? Do you have? I'll go with you first, Mike, on that. Have you seen any? What is that one thing that sticks out in your mind that I have to stay away from that? Because I've seen that go south too many times.
I mean, I guess the answer that can suit that is I just stay away from negative people. I stay away from negative people. You can see I try to take away my phone. I'm trying to act like I'm sitting in a room with just one person. I guess it's more so just staying away from negative people, right? I just try to encourage that positive mindset around my team. My two interns know about that. We got Tommy and Connor. Can you guys stand up, please, real quickly?
Good shout out.
Please, love these guys. These are my friends. I love these guys do. Really, it's just, as you try to stay away from negative thoughts. We try to stay in positive mindsets because, again, if those individuals or those thoughts or that energy is around me, how do we grow? How do we move forward, right? And again, if I'm thinking like that, how do we encourage my staff? How do I encourage my team, especially Connor and Tommy? Because again, they're looking for me to encourage them to, push them in the right path. But again, it's mindset, right?
What's the big derailing force that you've seen in your career with some of the people that have taken a wrong turn?
Fear. I think they're afraid. They're afraid to take a chance. They're afraid to bet on themselves. They're afraid to show up. They're just afraid. So because they're afraid, they do nothing. And people always ask me, what's the one thing? What's your one thing? What do you think is the one thing that you can, attribute to someone's success? I would say show up. Just show up. Even if you're in your PJs, just show the fuck up.
Let me answer that. Absolutely, let me answer that. I think the other thing is being confident in yourself. I really think the other portion is being confident because I can tell you, I meet individuals that, not only want to show the F up, but...
Come on, say it!
Yeah, my mama's in the room.
Shut your ears, mama!
No, it's being confident in yourself, right? It's just because there's times where people share an idea and then they'll go to the next person in the room and they'll shit on it. Okay, that did. See? Sorry, Mom. They'll do that. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like, are you going to let them dictate what you're going to do? Are you crazy? So I'm like, bro, sis, put your big ass on. Jump in the front seat. I put God in my front seat. I don't care who you put in your front seat. But just do it. Have confidence in yourself. Because at the end of the day, who cares what the next person thinks? Because again, they don't have confidence in themselves. And you gotta build it in yourself. But that comes along with the journey. But that's what it is.
What would you say to all that, Nick? What do you think the big picture here? What's your take on it? Being inside HR and working with people, where's the big gap right now?
Without getting myself, in trouble with the day job. I think the biggest thing I've seen in multiple industries, being in the middle of organizations, working with executive directors and senior vice presidents and people you might know, if I said some of their names, the biggest thing that I've seen derail people is a lack of understanding that leadership or growing a business or whatever it is you choose to do is about relationships. So many people end up in leadership roles. They're looking to build a team. They want to be a manager. They want to be a leader, and they believe it to be about tasks. You do this, I do that. And that's not what it's all about. It's not what they embody. it doesn't get you anywhere. And I've seen it over and over and over again. Really brilliant, bright people who look at their role in leadership as it being about tasks and divvying up the work. That's not what it's about. It's about understanding what you're good at, where I can remove obstacles to steal, your line, to allow people to be the best they can be in what it is they choose to do. And there's a huge difference between those two types of leaders. One goes on to do great things that maximizes the potential of the team. The leader who looks at lists and tasks and you didn't do this and where is that and I need this right away, they never really go anywhere. And they don't really tend to end up on stages. They just got there, and that's where they stay.
The checklist managers. I always said those are the seagull managers. They fly in, they shit on everything, and fly away. We've all worked for those people, right? Come on, show of hands. Show of hands. Yeah, there we go. All right, so final thoughts. Lindsay, I'm going to throw this to you. Out of all these people, they've heard you show the fuck up. What is your final quote for tonight?
Well, I won't repeat it, but it really is my mantra. What? Oh, FYE, F your excuses. Find an accountability. A lot of like what Nick said is being a leader that pours into their people, right? It's the who, not the how. And I think that's a big pivot we made during COVID was pouring into our team and what drives them and putting something tangible to it. Like I know Michael Carr's goal is to take his whole family to an island in Italy or Greece. And say it again? And us. But to build up the people, because the people are going to take you to the next level, and understanding what is going to drive them, and knowing that they are really the reason for any of our success. I mean, we do everything together. So I've really learned to sort of peel myself back and trust my team and trust that they're going to go wherever I'm going and we're going together, wherever that may be. But yeah, I think just whatever it is you want to do, start tomorrow. Not December 1st, like Marty said, back in the back. Tomorrow. Show up, get a piece of paper and a pen and write it out. This is what I'm going to do. Step one, day one. It doesn't have to be fancy, not fancy. And just start. And every person in this room, find out their name, find their phone number, hit them up. Hey, I have this idea. Can I run it by you? Will you meet me for coffee? The answer is 100% yes. And I always volunteer myself. If you want an accountability buddy, if you want somebody to hold you accountable to doing things, call me, text me, find me on Instagram. I'll be that person. Did you do it? No? Not why, because why is a question that allows you to make excuses. What got in the way? In the realm of all that was possible, could you have kept your commitment? Are you ready to recommit?
I know he's reaching the same time. I'm going to save Micah for last. Nick, final thoughts.
Be better tomorrow. Whatever you do, whether it's that idea you want to grow, you lead a team, you're part of a team. This is a stretch of time. It's not going anywhere yet. That's tested all of us. And I think if there's anything we've all learned is that we can be better leaders, we can be better teammates, we can be better managers. And it starts, I think, in this room. When we walk out of this room tonight, go be better tomorrow.
Wise words. All right, Micah. You're closing the show here.
Wow. So, I think my message is, let's lead with love. Let's lead with humility, right? Because we have multiple cultures right in here right now, right? We have multiple cultures in here. And the thing is, it's a beautiful thing when you meet somebody new or you see someone that you had a relationship with and you get to see them again. I want to say this. My wife bought me a book today called The Heart of Business. So I'm gonna break this down for a second. I don't care, you don't gotta have to have business, but you gotta have heart. You know that heart, that pumps in your body that keeps you alive, right? And it got 4 ventricles, right? Or 4 chambers. But I wanna say to you, all you gotta do is just a little bit. And you just gotta have enough faith as a mustard seed to make a difference in someone's life, or in a business, or for an opportunity. And it starts with you. So my thought would be, what are you gonna do today? And what are you gonna do with the words that we shared with you? And I hope that we convicted your hearts and your mind, that you can do something once you think there is.
That sounds good. I don't think I can top that one. Let's get started. A round of applause for all of our panelists here today. This is the future of somebody's out there. Look at that, we got a standing ovation here. This is some great stuff. I want to thank everybody here tonight, from Nick, Lindsay, Micah, Alexis, you're still not getting out of it. You're still here. I have to give a special shout out to Alexis. Everything you see here tonight, a lot of this is Alexis. She is an anchor on our team for tonight, so big round of applause. She doesn't like the spotlight, but I have to shine it on her. Thank you very much. Definitely, if you want to talk to anybody, we'll be here for a little while. If you have any questions, hit up the website. Tag us on social, take those pictures. We are jumping into the digital space hard in the next few months, so if you want to follow us, we've got some great stuff coming. HV Real, thanks again for everybody here. All of our sponsors, a round of applause for them, and definitely drive safe. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.